Okay, I dug these numbers up from Pew Research Center months ago, and I've referred to them often. November 12th, 2012 to be specific. And given what's going on in Washington today, I want to read something to you. And we're going to talk about Jeb Bush. We're going to talk about another Bush staffer, a guy by the name of Gerson. We're going to cover the whole field, so I hope you'll stick with us. Immigration, amnesty, you name it. Let's listen to this. This is from the Pew Research Center. In 1980, Jimmy Carter received 56% of the Hispanic vote. Ronald Reagan received 35% of the Hispanic vote. In 1984, Walter Mondale received 61% of the Hispanic vote. Ronald Reagan received 37% of the Hispanic vote. Now keep in mind, in 1884, Ronald Reagan had two massive landslides, and he never got more than 37% of the Hispanic vote. In 1988, Michael Dukakis got 69% of the Hispanic vote. George H.W. Bush got 30%. Now, let's stop there. What happened in 1986 was amnesty. So in 84, Reagan gets 37% of the Hispanic vote. Amnesty in 1986. His vice president is Bush 41. He's up for election, 1988, and he gets 30% of the Hispanic vote. A massive reduction, over 20% less than Reagan got. A 39% spread between Dukakis and Bush. 1992, Bill Clinton gets 61% of the Hispanic vote. Bush 41 gets 25% of the Hispanic vote. 1996, Bill Clinton gets 72% of the Hispanic vote. Bob Dole, who supported amnesty, got 21% of the Hispanic vote, a 51-point differential. 2000, Al Gore got 62% of the Hispanic vote. Bush 43 got 35% of the Hispanic vote, despite 6 years as governor of Texas with his compassionate conservatism. 2004, John Kerry got 58% of the Hispanic vote. George W. Bush got 40%. A massive 18-point differential. This would be the same George W. Bush, where his supporters claim he got 44% of that vote. No, he didn't. Not that it matters. Now we go to 2008. Barack Obama, barely known to anybody, got 67% of the Hispanic vote, 67%. John McCain, who'd been pushing hard for amnesty, got 31% of the Hispanic vote, a 36-point differential. John McCain got a lower percentage of the Hispanic vote than George W. Bush, twice, and then Reagan, twice. Now we have 2012, the most recent election. Barack Obama got 71% of the Hispanic vote. Mitt Romney, 27% of the Hispanic vote, a 44% differential. If you think that's massive, you're right. But keep in mind, in 96, Clinton got a 51-point higher percentage vote than Bob Dole, and he got a 36-point higher percentage vote than George H.W. Bush. In any event, we ran Reagan, two massive landslides, never got 40% of the Hispanic vote. Bush's father, Bush 41, never got over 30% of the Hispanic vote. Bob Dole, we have to change the Republican Party. He got the worst, 21% of the Hispanic vote. George W. Bush, Mr. Compassionate Conservative, never got over 40% of the Hispanic vote. John McCain did not get over 31% of the Hispanic vote. Mitt Romney, 27% of the Hispanic vote. You get the point? The Democrats do. Now, according to Jeb Bush, the problem is the Republican Party, you see. The problem was Ronald Reagan. The problem was his father. The problem was Dole. The problem was his brother. The problem was McCain. The problem was Romney. No. And Carter and Mondale and Dukakis and Clinton and Gore and Kerry and Obama. See, they knew how to address this voting bloc, quote unquote. It's just that the Republicans over the last 32 years don't know what they're doing. Because, you see, these folks, they're Republicans in waiting. They're Republicans in waiting. And yet, the amnesty didn't persuade the group, quote unquote, I'm talking like a liberal or a rhino, the group, quote unquote, to move Republican. In fact, only 1 out of 4 voted for George H.W. Bush right after amnesty was granted. Now, it's one thing when you're talking about 2.6 million people. It's quite another when you're talking about official number 11 million. I suspect it's closer to 20 million. Now, with some of that context, Let's move to Jeb Bush. Now keep a couple things in mind, folks. It was the Bush family that did everything possible to try and derail Ronald Reagan. Keep another thing in mind. The Bush family, in one form or another, has been in the highest levels of government since 1980. Bush 41 was vice president and president. Bush 43 was a governor and president. Jeb Bush was a governor. These men, this family, will never oppose big federal government. They help contribute to it in very significant ways. And they've spent their careers trying to reposition conservatism, trying to change the Republican Party from where Reagan had positioned it. Imagine America today if George H.W. Bush 41 had followed in Reagan's footsteps as a matter of policy and principle, rather than lurching back to Republican mush. Imagine if George W. Bush hadn't been the most irresponsible president when it comes to spending and the growth of government before Barack Obama trumped him. Imagine where the country would be today. And I know all his little staffers get all worked up and they write stuff and they'll blog things and so forth. Get all, let's compare numbers, But the facts are the facts, and I'm going to demonstrate that later as well. And I'm doing this because of Jeb Bush. He's all over TV again. The man's either going to run for president or is trying to play a big role in who the nominee will be. The Bushes have been involved in this for over 30 years, trying to control who the Republican nominee is going to be. And now their former staffers, particularly Rove, are trying to devour the Republican Party, constantly at war with the conservative movement, and now the Tea Party. So Jeb Bush is at something called the Faith and Freedom Coalition's road to majority. And first of all, I look at the Bush record when it comes to running for president. Bush 41, he became president because he was Ronald Reagan's vice president. Bush 43 lost the popular vote in 2000, even though he legitimately won the presidency through the Electoral College. But he lost the popular vote. He won the popular vote in 2004, but nothing massive. This is their record. Their candidate was Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney lost, and I'm going to be honest with you, to a very weak candidate, Barack Obama. So other than a 8-year short period with Ronald Reagan, we've had nothing but moderate, big government republicanism. And it's those very same people who keep lecturing us and telling us that we need to continue to follow them and then besmirch us and ridicule us.